Tonight, ABC 57 investigates allegations of sexual harassment from multiple female firefighters, paramedics, 911 dispatchers, and EMTs at departments across St. Joseph County. And they all have one thing in common. They're all pointing to one high-profile and very well-connected local fire chief who recently resigned from his job because these women are now fighting back. But a warning, some of what you're about to see is graphic.
Hi, I'm Brian Kazmierzak, the Battalion Chief of the Penn Township Fire Department in Mishawaka, Indiana.
Chief Brian Kazmierzak is a nationally recognized expert on firefighting techniques and a certified instructor on how to keep first responders safe.
Every single car that goes by is another danger to us.
He's even appeared here on ABC 57 News multiple times over the years to help educate the public.
He's a great instructor, but he's taken advantage of his position and his career to victimize dozens of women.
Ivy Tech paramedic instructor Christine Peterson saw Chief Kazmierzak on ABC 57 in late January and reached out to us with stunning allegations of years-long sexual harassment and abuse of power.
He made it known that he was a chief and he would use his fire department vehicle to try to stalk you. It was very graphic. He would email or instant message photos, naked photos of himself, wanting you to wear a schoolgirl's outfit, thigh highs, high heels.
And Christine isn't the only one. Over the past 6 weeks, ABC 57 News discovered more than a dozen women with similar allegations. 3 of them brave enough to show their faces, others represented by these empty chairs, and another who asked to remain anonymous.
He found me on social media and Facebook, and he started stalking me. I had tons of explicit messages.
This former firefighter says she deleted all her disturbing messages, but several other women shared theirs. Texts confirmed to be sent from Chief Kazmierzak's cell phone number on February 3rd to a woman in local emergency services reads, "You are so sexy. So when was the last time you were a bad girl? Any naughty pics? Horny as could be and can't get you out of my head now. I want you." Another woman in the fire services got similar texts from the same phone number in 2017, reading in part, "Cool, I work at Penn. So, do you like kinky?"
I was gobsmacked, literally, that someone in his position would behave that way openly.
Julie Techler was a firefighter in Center Township 15 years ago, and she says Brian Kazmierzak, then a battalion chief with the Clay Fire Territory, did the same thing to her after seeing her at a joint fire training exercise.
I'm here to stand up and say he's a predator. He has violated multiple women multiple times in multiple ways, and he needs to be stopped.
I'm Brian Kazmierzak on my Cold Water Challenge. I'm going to make my donation to the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation.
Chief Kazmierzak even tweeted out this Cold Water Challenge video, asking members of his own department to participate in what's supposed to be a kind-hearted fundraiser.
Oh, I'm just getting all hot and bothered by doing that. Ah! That's cold.
And believe it or not, multiple sources confirm that cell phone video was actually shot right here, inside Penn Township Fire Headquarters, owned and paid for by the taxpayers.
I live in Penn Township, and he may have been to my house for calls.
Terry Young is Christine Peterson's mother. Her late husband, Reverend Irwin Young, was a fire department chaplain in 2004 when Terry says she got a revolting proposition at a firehouse Christmas party, but didn't know at the time it came from the same fire chief who was allegedly harassing her daughter.
This guy, whom I had no idea who he was, said, "Would you like to do a threesome with your daughter and I?" And I said, "What?" And he says, "You want to do a threesome?" And I looked at him and I said, "Are you sick?" And just walked away.
But Christine still didn't tell her mom or file a complaint about what was happening to her even after that incident.
I felt like if I made him mad, he would try to end my career. Like he knew enough people that he could get me blackballed.
How long did it last?
11 years, 2003 to 2014.
How does that make you feel that that went on for 11 years?
Sick. It makes me sick. It's got to stop. If it isn't him, it'll be somebody else. And if they know they can get away with it, they'll do it.
Once ABC 57 News started digging into the women's allegations and formally requesting all these documents from multiple fire departments, Battalion Chief Brian Kazmierzak suddenly resigned from the Penn Township Fire Department at the beginning of March, sending a series of emails to the chief and the township trustee, reading in part, quote, "Effective immediately, I am resigning from Penn Fire. Thanks for a great 7 years. I am sorry for the embarrassment and issues caused." So we went to Penn Fire headquarters to ask Chief John Van Breeny about it.
Can I ask you about Brian Kazmierzak?
Brian resigned Friday, March 1st, and he's no longer with us.
Were you aware of the allegations against him?
I'm no comment right now, please.
Obviously, there are multiple women who have
I
concerns.
have no idea about that. Okay, I'm sorry.
Right.
All right.
But that denial from Chief Van Breeny is directly contradicted by this February email from Penn Firefighters Union President Tim Pearson, obtained by ABC 57 News using open records law. It's regarding Facebook rumors surrounding Battalion Chief Kazmierzak. On Monday, February 25th, Chief Van Breeny responded, quote, "The trustee and I are well aware of this issue. We are addressing it. So far, these posts are allegations with no validity," unquote. Then, Penn Township trustee Doris Portalese backtracked even further, having their attorney send this statement on Monday, reading in part, quote, "Penn Township Fire Department chief and Penn Township trustee recently received anonymous allegations that employee Brian Kazmierzak was sexually harassing women via Facebook posts regarding activity in 2013. When confronted with the allegations by the fire chief and trustee, Mr. Kazmierzak first denied the allegations, then resigned his employment."
And we did reach out to Chief Kazmierzak by phone, by text, email. We even knocked on his door at home, but he has not responded to our numerous requests to discuss the allegations or his sudden resignation. Now, coming up tonight on ABC 57 News at 11, just how could this alleged sexual harassment go on for so long? And what finally made these women start fighting back? Also, how was this handled by various fire departments, including Penn Township? Tonight, more of our ABC 57 News special investigation into allegations of sexual harassment being made by more than a dozen female firefighters, EMTs, and 911 dispatchers. As we first told you at 6, they're now fighting back against a well-connected local fire chief they say used his power and position to torment them, in some cases for years. And the question is, just how was it allowed to go on so long?
Hi, I'm Brian Kazmierzak, a Battalion Chief of the Penn Township Fire Department.
Chief Brian Kazmierzak is a nationally known fire safety instructor and appeared to have a stellar reputation among first responders, often appearing here on ABC 57 News.
If we can't find the fire hydrant, we can't help you.
But multiple women in emergency services across St. Joseph County, 3 brave enough to show their faces on camera, have come forward sharing their stories of sexual harassment involving graphic social media and text messages confirmed to be from Chief Kazmierzak's cell phone, saying things like, "So, do you like kinky? Me so horny. Have time to see me tomorrow?" The woman's reply, "Thought you worked." "I do, but I have my own SUV, so I probably could see you somewhere." Her reply, "Are you paid or volunteer?" "Paid. I'm the shift commander, battalion chief."
I'm Brian Kazmierzak.
He also publicly tweeted out this video about a cold water fundraiser and challenged the Penn Township Fire Chief John Van Breeny to participate too.
Oh, I just getting all hot and bothered by doing that. Ah! That's cold. I call out John Van Breeny.
It's just not right. Somebody needs to stand up and say, "You're a predator."
Former Center Township firefighter Julie Teckler says she was sexually harassed by Chief Kazmierzak on and off for 7 years and is stunned by how many women have come forward since she posted about the man known as Kaz on Facebook last month.
I've talked to at least 20, just my personal self, and I know that there's many more that are in fear of their job, and many of the women that I spoke with are still in fear for their job, so they won't come forward out of fear of repercussion.
Christine Peterson, another former firefighter and now a paramedic instructor at Ivy Tech, says she was harassed by the same fire chief for 11 years and turned to ABC 57 News for help after she says one of her former students confided in her.
She told me that she was being harassed by a firefighter, And I told her that we needed to report that, and she said, I can't, he's a chief. And I blurted out the name, it's Brian Kazmierzak, isn't it? And her response was, well, how do you know? And I told her my story.
Once ABC 57 News started requesting these personnel records from various fire departments, it became clear this was an open secret across St. Joseph County, documented as far back as 2011, when Kazmierzak was at Clay Fire Territory in South Bend. He was demoted from division chief to captain when this woman, who wanted to remain anonymous, filed a formal complaint over texts calling her, quote, hot, and adding, by the way, I am a huge flirt and in general a very naughty boy.
He found me on social media and Facebook, and he started stalking me. Clay Fire Territory, I think, gave him an ultimatum at the time.
Clay Fire Territory did not provide ABC 57 with these 2011 documents as part of our public records request, claiming they no longer keep them after 6 years. But they do back the woman's story up, saying, quote, Deputy Chief Kazmierzak was confronted with this incident and admitted to the conversation and the unprofessional, inappropriate nature of this type of action. Kaz was given a 4-week unpaid suspension, demoted to the rank of captain, and required to attend counseling or he would be fired. He quit 6 months later at Clay, and another Indiana Fire Department refused to hire him because of those allegations. And they released these documents to ABC 57 through a Freedom of Information request. However, Kaz quickly found a new home at the Penn Township Fire Department as a battalion chief.
He took the demotion and walked away, looking for another job, and he got it. And that's just disgusting that was allowed to go on.
Can I ask you about Brian Kazmierzak?
This is what happened when we confronted Penn Township Fire Chief John Van Breene about it all.
Were you aware of the allegations against him?
I'm no comment right now, please.
Obviously, there are multiple women who have concerns.
I have no idea about that. Okay, I'm sorry. Right.
But 1 week earlier, Brian Kazmierzak suddenly resigned from Penn Township, sending a series of emails to Chief Van Breene and Township Trustee Doris Portalese, reading in part, quote, effective immediately, I am resigning from Penn Fire. Thanks for a great 7 years. I am sorry for the embarrassment and issues caused. And on February 25th, Chief Van Breene personally responded to a Firefighters Union email about Facebook posts regarding Chief Kazmierzak's inappropriate behavior, saying, quote, the trustee and I are well aware of this issue. We are addressing it. So far, these posts are allegations with no validity. And that doesn't sit well with Julie Teckler.
That's what angers me the most, is that he's still at it and nobody's holding him accountable.
Then, this week, Penn Township trustee Portalese backtracked, having their attorney send ABC 57 a statement saying in part, quote, Penn Township Fire Department Chief and Penn Township trustee recently received anonymous allegations that employee Brian Kazmierzak was sexually harassing women via Facebook posts regarding activity in 2013. When confronted with the allegations by the fire chief and trustee, Mr. Kazmierzak first denied the allegations, then resigned his employment.
You think fire department leaders have not done the right thing?
Absolutely. I know they haven't. Reports were filed, and reports never ended up in his file. That disgusts me.
We did reach out to Chief Kazmierzak by phone, text, email, even knocked on his door at home to try and get his side of the story. But so far he hasn't responded to our numerous requests to discuss the allegations and his sudden resignation. The women who came forward say the Me Too movement helped give them courage to speak out, and they're now urging other harassment victims to do the same. Brian Conybeare, ABC 57 News.